And welcome back to episode 149 of the Weekly Tech Wrap with me, Jay.
And me, Carl.
Well, Carl, how you doing? Oh, what's it doing
I've
now?
got some music. I'm doing all right.
You put your own intro music. The gremlins are in.
No, I'm doing good. Busy, but okay.
Excellent. Well, we are both coming to you from the same country this week, as we are in the same, not the same physical location, but the same country, continent, time zone, you name it, we're here. So we're back this week then with a roundup of all the latest tech stories. And boy, have we got some interesting ones this week, haven't we?
Oh, yes, we have.
So we are going to cover everything from Apple. Not quite the Apple story you thought you were going to hear this week. We're going to talk about Amazon. We're going to talk about Grok. If you've not heard about Grok, you're going to hear about it now. Qualcomm Iridium and GTA 6 news, which I'm still quite doubtful about, if I'm honest with you. And our favorite analyst, Michin Kuo, has dropped another rumor on the iPad models for next year. But then first, come on, let's kick off with Apple first. Not the big story, but the first story, which is kind of a follow-on, isn't it, from the Scary Fast event that we had the other week.
Yeah, so those of you holding out for a 27-inch iMac, you're going to be disappointed. Well, maybe. Apple have stated they have no plans to make one. Now, this is Apple we're talking about here, so the devil is in the detail on what they didn't actually say. So they didn't say, you wouldn't get any other size. They just said, we won't be doing a 27-inch iMac. And actually, they said iMac and not iMac Pro. So this is Apple, man. We could end up with a 27-inch iMac Pro. We could end up with a 32-inch iMac. Who knows?
See, this is not a shock, if I'm genuinely honest with you.
No.
I don't think this is a surprise whatsoever. I think Apple don't see any logic in doing a 27-inch iMac because for them, the base model, the 24, is, as we talked about before, it's the iPad Air of desktop computers, isn't it? It's I do not have a computer. I do not want a laptop, but I'm not, requirements for major league technology. So this is it's kind of exactly what it does exactly what it says in the tin. It's all in one computer, covers all the bases, and that's it. And I suppose the 27-inch is like, well, why do you need a bigger screen? You're not a pro, are you?
Well, I don't know. This is a funny one because they used to have the 27-inch and they used to have the 21.5, was it?
Yes, 21.5 was it? Yes, right. Yeah.
So they did do a bigger one, but Apple during the announcement were like, and it's got a huge screen. No, it's got a smaller screen than the last one. How's that a huge screen? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call a 27-inch a huge screen. I mean, I don't think I'd buy below my side monitor is 25 inches. That's turned on its side.
Well, I'm sorry. I've got two 27 inches either side and a 34 in the middle. So,
Yeah, exactly. So my side little one is a 25-inch, and my main one's what is it? Is it 32? No, 34-inch ultra wide. Yeah. So 24 inches is a tiny screen, not a huge screen.
No, and I think you're right. The devil is in the detail here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's what they didn't say. So we're not getting a 27-inch iMac. We might get a 26 or 28 or whatever it is, but not a 27.
No, not is it? And I think I don't know. I don't think Apple are going to be too worried because I don't know whether this is a huge seller. I'm guessing it's probably not as big a seller as the MacBook lineup.
Not anymore. I think your laptops are your big sellers now, and I suppose their argument is, well, if you want a bigger screen, go and get a Mac Studio or Mac Mini and plug it into
a Pro Display XDR.
They do the smaller one, don't they? They do the one with the iPad built into it,
Studio Display. Yeah.
Studio Display. But that's still £1,500, is it?
Yeah, I think it is. I've got the Apple. Funny enough, I've got the Apple site up now. £1,500. Yeah.
So, well, the Studio Display is 5,000, isn't it? So, are they both 27s? Are they, or are they bigger?
No. Pro Display XDR is a 32-inch.
It's a 32-inch,
which is 32-inch 6K, which is 1,600 nits peak brightness.
And the other one is a 27, and that's the one with the iPad basically built into the back, isn't it? That has the A16 chip or something along those lines to control the camera and the other bits and pieces. That's
right. It's got the 12 megapixel ultra wide with center stage in it and the Studio mic array. Yeah, you're right. Basically, it's got a iPad Air.
But by doing Apple's thing, if you want a larger screen, you're paying a considerable amount more money.
Yeah, you are. You are massively.
What's the iMac start at?
The
I have no
iMac
idea.
starts at so where are they? I had one here. I had it on the page here. So if I want an iMac, just bog basic, run of the mill iMac. Of course, that comes with M3 now. Don't forget.
Yeah.
So 8-core GPU, 8-core CPU, 256 storage, 8 gig of RAM is 1350.
Okay, so to go to a bigger display size, you've got to spend more than an iMac on the screen alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting value proposition there.
But that's what I'm saying. This is why their target market isn't people who, this is for, I would like a computer in the house. Literally a computer.
It is. It is. But then I don't know. Yeah, you have to really want one in the house and all-in-one and be in the Apple ecosystem.
I think, look, I'll give you an example. Let's forget the cost for just a second.
Yeah.
If I, let's say for my kids, if money wasn't an issue, so to speak, and I wanted I had a family room and I wanted to put a shared computer in for the children to do homework and stuff, iMac would be perfect. Absolutely perfect, wouldn't it? As a shared family computer that you can go to. And I guess for a lot of people, that's kind of that scenario, or they have it at home to work on as a desk if you just need to do basic SaaS applications.
But if money was no object, would you not just get the Mac Studio and the XDR display?
Yeah, that'd be overkill for the kids, wouldn't it?
I don't know. I mean, nowadays, my son's just moved to a new school, and I was looking at their computer curriculum. There's a lot of stuff using Adobe and video editing and stuff like that, and I would hazard to guess they want a bit bigger than a 24-inch display. I mean, I've seen the studio they use, and they've all got 30-odd-inch displays in the studios at school. They're not Macs, though. They're Windows at school.
Well, no, this is true. This is true.
But they're going to get home and go, "Wow, man, I can't see anything." And how much timeline can I fit on a 24-inch screen? I'm just being picky here.
No, I'm with you. I'm laughing because I'm like, yeah, you're probably right here.
Yeah. Buy them glasses to go with that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, so I don't think we're going to be seeing it anytime soon, personally. And then,
no, certainly not this year, are we? Maybe second half of next year, I reckon we might see another something. Maybe we'll get that iMac Pro.
Well, maybe we might. But then again, I don't think that'll happen either, because with the kind of money you're paying there, you are into studio territory, aren't you? Probably.
Yeah, but then to get the 32-inch screen, you still spend $5,000 on the studio display. So it's a happy medium in the middle, maybe. It's a lot of money in the middle, but it's still in the middle.
The happy medium in the middle is buy a Mac Mini, isn't it?
Yeah. But you still got the $5,000 display to get the 32.
Damn it! Right. Anyway,
moving on to the big announcement. The hell has frozen over announcement with a little helping hand from the EU's DMA. But yeah, Apple has gone on record and officially stated they will support RCS in 2024.
So, in a statement from spokesperson Jacqueline Roy, Apple have stated later next year we'll be adding support for the RCS Universal Profile, the standard as currently published by the GSM Association. She goes on to say, we believe the RCS Universal Profile will offer a better interoperability experience when compared to SMS or MMS. This will work alongside iMessage, which will continue to be the best and most secure messaging experience for Apple users. No, you're not changing the color. You're still getting the green bubble.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the bit I love the most. Apple have clarified as well. It's no longer speculation that SMS and RCS will be the green bubbles. It's not going to fix the whole American blue versus green bubble nonsense.
No, I was stunned when this came out yesterday.
I know. When you sent to me, I was like, what? What's the date? April the 1st? No.
No, it's definitely not April 1st. But I mean, as you say, I think this is not... Google will be shouting from the rooftops that this is a coup by Google to convince Apple to join the rest of the world. The reality, as you said in your open there, is this is not Google. This is the DMA.
Exactly. And they've said it'll be 2024. You guarantee it'll be... When's the DMA coming? Is that, I want to say May at some point? It will be May. It will be announced just in time when the DMA goes live. But, it could finally bring some benefits, especially for that, as they say, between iOS and Android speaking. You should, and I don't know if it's not been confirmed which features they're integrating or why they've specifically said RCS Universal Profile. Is there more than one profile with different features? I'm going to guess there is, since they specifically mentioned that particular profile. But, we could see encryption. We could see read receipts, typing indicators, finally kind of high res images. Because I think if you send a message from your iPhone to Android, it gets put via MMS, isn't it? Which is heavily compressed and
Well,
downsampled.
yeah. So the universal profile is a industry standard, basically, that they've put together, the GSMA.
Oh, has Google got their own standard of it? Yeah, which has other features on top.
Possibly. So the whole point of the universal profile was to ensure that. I think they have three. They have three areas: operators, OEMs, and OS providers. So the
Okay.
operators, being your cellular company, isn't it? Your mobile
Yeah.
company. The OEMs being the handset manufacturers, and the OS providers being Android,
Yeah.
Google, Android. Sorry, I mean iOS, isn't it?
Yeah.
And maybe anything else, I guess. Basically, and ironically,
Hmm.
it does also state Microsoft in the GSMA web page, which I'm
Is that
unsure.
Windows Phone?
Yeah, but the universal profile isn't new. So the universal profile was put together some years ago.
Yeah, it would have been donkeys ago, wouldn't it? Probably 7-8 years ago, I imagine.
Yeah, so the universal profile was about a few years ago. They talk about it. Um, the so as you say, you get longer messages, you get read receipts. There's also end-to-end encryption, isn't there, as well?
Yeah.
Now, my view would be that Apple will just take the standard as is. I
They'll do.
can't
Yeah,
see
they'll
them.
do. The universal profile to me sounds like the bare minimum, and that's what they'll do.
Yeah, so it was a 2020 RCS. I think RCS sort of. RCS itself was put together in 2007, I think, but it wasn't established until 2016. The universal.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So it's not new, as you say. They're on version 2.4 at the minute,
Yeah.
and it just covers it. And most of the major operators have all got it in there.
Yeah.
Um, I don't see. I don't see this being a challenge, and I suspect now any operator that doesn't have it will look to onboard it, because if their Android, if their iOS users are using it now, or availability, I suspect we'll see
But this is the difference, though. This is run by the operators, the messaging
all three.
service.
Yeah, it's got all three. Don't
Whereas
forget, isn't it?
iOS
Yeah,
is iMessage. Sorry, is run by Apple. It's run by the
yeah.
OS manufacturer.
And I think there was wasn't there a word in that statement that said about that they called was it iOS iMessage, which is still the best and most secure messaging experience
Yeah.
Apple users. Yeah, that was two fingers up at.
And it's not going anywhere. I think they also said
Yeah,
it'll
and it
still be
won't
there.
be.
It's still the default on iOS.
I mean, and quite frankly, why would you? Why would you go anywhere else? In all seriousness,
Well, yeah.
because as an iOS user, why would I want to use anything else where I'm not reliant on the operator. I'm not reliant. I'm just using data connectivity of any service. It's encrypted to, the end. To
Yeah.
the person I'm talking to. It is. But there's no reason why you wouldn't want to be here, is there? An iMessage.
No.
But
No, like we're organising a snowballing trip between me and some friends. Okay, and when I started to put a group together, I was like, right, okay, I'm just going to use
what
iMessage
do I
for a
use?
group,
Yeah.
put all the information on there, and then I realised one of the party of 7 people on there uses Android, and I was like, oh, that's not going to
Damn,
work,
yeah.
is it? It's going to be a pain. So over we moved to WhatsApp.
And I'm not a big fan of WhatsApp, as you know.
No, me neither. That's why I
But,
start with the iMessage group, but that one going to work.
but in the scenario that we currently have, it's the only real option, isn't it? Without going down the road of Telegram, a Signal, and all that jazz.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's it is there, but look, hell has frozen over, as you say, and RCS will be coming. But yeah, I think this is definitely more around the DMA than it is
It's
anything
not
else.
around Google about Google, is it?
No.
Google haven't shamed him into doing it.
No, Google have not shamed it. Google will be taking this as a comprehensive win.
Of course they will.
But
They'll be lying to themselves, but they'll take it as a win.
Yeah, I'll say, but Apple will be making this very clear. This was nothing to do with you. I'm sure
well.
in that sense whatsoever. But yeah, hell has frozen over. God, what's going to happen next?
I don't know. Well, we'll be getting non-Safari browsers and third-party app stores, won't we?
Well, who knows? That could be. Well, that's as you say that is that is something that's going to happen, isn't it? In
Well,
the
that is
EU,
part of
isn't
the
it?
DMA, isn't it?
Yeah, so Windows 11, I mean, on a kind of related point, isn't it? Windows 11 users in Europe, I stress in Europe, will be allowed to uninstall Edge, Bing, and what's it, block ads, isn't it? I think in the capabilities, wasn't it? That
Oh
was
yeah,
another
there was
thing.
a number of I can't remember something else as well. Oh, the is it the widgets bar? You were able to disable the ads and the news sections in that, and just have your widgets. There was a long list of bits that were coming to people in the EU, which obviously the UK unfortunately isn't a member of anymore.
No. So
So
we'll still,
we may or may not get that, but again, I imagine I think I said to you on the message that technology, that ability has to be in the OS for everyone. It's just whether it's enabled or not. So there will be third-party hacks that anyone will then be able to remove this.
yeah, definitely. You're right. There'll be a tool that opens up and allows you to do all of this, definitely. But there we go. Right. So moving on then to Amazon. Talking of the Brits, and
Yes.
our best friends over at the CMA, they've announced, haven't they, that they have come to an agreement with with Amazon and Meta. To them, they're not allowed to use data collected from their third party or their marketplaces to use third party data, which is third party data, to undercut any rivals in terms of pricing, isn't it, or any commercial advantage that they may get from that. And this is around things like what they call the buy box, isn't it? On Amazon, where you're positioned with a product, typically Amazon's own, isn't it, or Amazon's promoted, as opposed to somebody else selling that product. And therefore, if you and I were selling the same product and you were Amazon, typically you'd undercut me, wouldn't you? Or try to get
Exactly. I mean, they were using all this information they were gathering from sales, and to basically choose whether they should enter a market or not. Because Amazon have a number of their own brands that aren't called Amazon, but they're owned by them. So whether they should open a new market with those, what pricing they should go in, what volumes to expect, and then how to undercut the competition. They're Sherlocked people.
Yeah, basically, and they were doing it all the time. And Facebook or Meta, which was technically using it for Facebook, wasn't it? Was doing a similar thing because they according to the CMA, they were exploiting advertisers who were selling items on the Facebook marketplace, and then using competitor data to improve own products or services that may or may not compete with that, wasn't it? So again, sort of doing the same thing to a degree, isn't it?
Exactly. So I think the outcome of these investigations, and obviously they've been found guilty, so Amazon will be prevented from using that third-party seller data to give it an unfair commercial advantage. It will also allow rivals to negotiate rates of independent delivery contractors working on behalf of Amazon and start to feature them in that buy box as well, as you mentioned. They also they promise to appoint a neutral CMA-approved independent trustee to assess its compliance.
Yeah.
And then Meta apparently going forward, competitors on the Facebook marketplace that advertise on Meta's platforms can opt out of having their data being used to improve Facebook marketplace.
What's the bet the buy box just disappears in its current format?
Yeah, we'll call it the buy now box or something. We'll change its name. Job done.
Yeah.
This is Amazon and Meta we're talking about.
I was just going to say, yeah.
Yeah, we agreed to it, kind of, maybe, and who is this CMA-approved independent trustee? They may be independent at the time, but once you throw enough money at them, they might not be independent after the fact.
Well, that's a very valid point, isn't it? With Stockholm syndrome, but
Yeah.
There you go. At least I guess at least the CMA are getting more and more powers. It does feel that way recently, doesn't it? So
yeah, I mean, this one actually seems like a bit of a win for consumers and businesses. I mean, I don't know how it's going to pan out, but we haven't always agreed with some of their decisions, but I think this is a good one.
I think so. Well, I guess the proof will be the pudding, won't it? As
yeah, definitely. So our next story, Grok. So XAI, so Musk's Twitter AI company. So they are the competitor to ChatGPT. The program they're about to launch is called Grok, and it started rolling out to a select group of users. But Musk has X'd tweets. What are we calling it now? I still don't know what we call it. But
this show, we're going to stick with Twitter.
Okay, he's tweeted once it's out of beta. If you're paying the $16 a month for the Premium Plus plan, you will get Grok included.
You get Grokked.
He'll get grokked, exactly. So
Sorry, I couldn't resist that one. That's
Musk
terrible.
did put out some screenshots of chats with Grok, and it's
Oh
very
my god.
much designed to embody his humor in the responses, and it just looks terrible. But he has said it will have real-time access to info via the X platform, which he says is a massive advantage over other models. Is it?
May I read out the example of one?
Go for it. Go for it.
So this is from Elon Musk, just to be very clear. First, I'd like to stress we would never condone that you ask any questions like this of any LLM. But here is an example of one of the ones that Elon Musk himself posted. The user asked Grok, "Tell me how to make cocaine step by step." The response from the AI or Grok was, "Oh, sure. Just a moment while I pull up the recipe for homemade cocaine. Because I'm really going to totally help you with that. Step 1, attain chemistry degree and DEA license. Step 2, set up a clandestine laboratory in a remote location. Step 3, acquire large quantities of various ingredients. Step 4, start cooking and hope you don't blow yourself up or get arrested. Haha, just kidding. Please don't actually try to make cocaine. It's illegal, dangerous, and not something I'd ever encourage." I mean,
Cringe.
oh, painful.
Yeah.
Why in the name of.
Well, he needs to differentiate it because, obviously we haven't played with this, so we don't know how good it's going to be. But I suspect not as good as ChatGPT. And the fact that he's hawking it's going to have real-time access to the X platform, I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, considering the amount of misinformation that's on there. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that, I think.
I know they say. I mean, if you look, I've got ChatGPT up here because
Yeah.
I use ChatGPT regularly to enhance my work, and it does now say at the bottom, ChatGPT can make mistakes. Consider checking important information. I mean,
well, Musk's never going to put that on his one that he can make mistakes, is it?
He doesn't make mistakes, does it?
No.
But he's also opened up to the internet because it says the threshold for what it will tell you is if pushed is what is available on the internet via reasonable browser search, which quite frankly is a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So yeah, we will see.
I mean,
mind you, I'm not going to pay the $16 a month to actually get access.
I was just going to say
maybe we won't see.
Let's be honest. The world and his wife.
Yeah,
everybody's got a chat AI chatbot, and when I say AI chatbot, I'm not referring to the kind of thing that helps you with your booking of your hotel flights. Whether I'm talking about the LLM, large language model with a natural language interface on the front end. That's what I'm talking about when I say chat. And yeah, the world and his wife have got them now. Everybody, who's everybody, is looking to drive this conversation, and it's not surprising that we've got this now from Musk, and
no, not at all.
And I would say differentiator, and it's not differentiating because, like I say, if he's got one, but you're right, it's going to be the way that you interface with it and the output from it, which is going to be the differentiator. And quite frankly, from this initial statements, is going to be absolutely terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the way if I was building an LLM and trying to market it and sell the tool that I would advertise it, but. Yeah. Here we are.
Yeah. Absolutely terrible. So then, moving away from Grokbot, see what I did there? One of the things that was announced this week, just before we get into this story, because it's related, is that Apple have extended the free satellite SOS capability for the iPhone 14, haven't they?
They have indeed, for another year, haven't they?
So another year. And this was one of the things we were curious about, wasn't it? What was going to happen when that year was up? Would you have to pay for it? Because if you had to pay for it, let's be honest, it'd be a fortune, realistically, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, would it though? Because it's not something you use all the time. I mean, how many times a year do you think you'd be putting yourself in that much danger you need a satellite emergency call?
Hopefully not a lot, but I'm guessing it wouldn't be cheap, let's be realistic.
No.
Off the back of that, wasn't it? Qualcomm and Iridium back early this year announced
CES.
Thank you. Would be announcing that they were going to enable a similar capability in Android, weren't they? Through a tie-up between the satellite technology modems in the Qualcomm chips and Iridium as their provider partner.
Yeah.
However, it seems to have kind of fallen by the wayside, didn't it?
Yes, yes. According to statements, not one single Android handset developer signed up to implement this in their phones. So Qualcomm has terminated the deal with Iridium. Yes, they put out statements basically saying that smartphone OEMs have indicated a preference towards standard-based solutions for satellite connectivity and mobile devices. We expect to continue to collaborate with Iridium on standards-based solutions while discontinuing efforts on proprietary solutions that was introduced earlier in the year. And it just goes on to continue to support blah, 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 different modem products. But yeah, not a great show. Or, maybe, like you mentioned, it's not going to be cheap. Maybe the handset manufacturer Samsung and looked at it and went, oh, wow, that is expensive, and we need to swallow the costs. No.
I think that could be more to the point, realistically, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because
Apple's got the money to kind of swallow this for a while,
thank
haven't
you. I was just going to say, Apple must be losing money in that partnership with.
Yeah.
I can't remember who their satellite provider was now, but
yeah.
The difference is but what Apple have got out of this is massive marketing, because look at how many of these news stories you hear. And I know then, I mean, I don't mean they're 10 a penny, but these success stories of people being rescued because of Apple SOS, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
And
if you're someone that likes going out and being on an adventure in remote places where signal is a problem, and you've got to a point where, right, I need something just in case of an emergency. And you look at the price of an actual sat phone, or you look at the price of an iPhone and go, wow, the iPhone Pro Max 15 is well cheap. With that functionality, I'll just buy that.
Now, Apple obviously didn't invent satellite technology
No,
or satellite phones, and we know that. But what they did do, again, was they took a market, didn't they, and they developed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a normal sat phone where I can pick up and actually have a full conversation. It is a very limited subset, so only in emergencies you can send basically text messages, isn't it? And only to the emergency services via Apple's relay stations. Yeah,
but that's the beauty of it, isn't it? It doesn't need to be anything else.
No, it's for in an emergency to save your life, get communication.
Yeah, and actually, what more do you want? And I think
roadside assistance. That's what you want, because they're bringing that out as well, aren't they?
Well, they do indeed. And again,
it's an emergency situation, isn't it?
How long before we hear again these stories of save my life, because we had the tie-in between crash detection, crash detection, which we already know works, because again, massive stories on that, but crash detection, and then ties in with I was in a place with no signal, but my phone bounced off the satellite, and next thing I know, I've been rescued. But
I'll tell you how long. 10 months next September.
Well, yeah, there you go. Exactly. It will
be trotting that out to start off the old event.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I'm personally speaking, I think the other players in the market are missing a trick. But you're right, not everybody has the huge depth of deep pockets.
Money piles.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, funding that Apple they have themselves, and until that gets to that stage, you're right. Who's going to want to build in additional capability, which is costing more money, which they're getting no return on? For what?
Yeah. Well, that's it. And also, I think the other bit that plays on Android is Qualcomm have done it at the chip level, or plan to do it at the chip level, which meant if they release it, every Android manufacturer could have it. So if Samsung has it and everyone else has it, what's the differentiator for Samsung?
Yeah, there isn't. Yeah,
and you're still playing catch up with iPhones. So I can see there was no real benefit for them to do it.
Yeah. I tell you, I mean, I think we talked about this when it came out. I do still think in a few years' time, this is how phones will work. We won't need an Iridium sat phone to make satellite communications. It will just be standard non-terrestrial networks.
And I think in the article it did stand at the bottom. It did say that Vodafone have been trialing actual 5G calls from space. They're not using. Technically, it's a 5G satellite rather than cell towers, but using the 5G technology. So pretty standard.
It's coming. It's coming, isn't it? Massively.
Yep.
So there we go. So Qualcomm and Iridium. It was a relationship that was never meant to be.
No.
At least for the moment.
Well, yes. Now on to the big news.
Oh,
it's happening. It's finally happening. There is a new game coming that we will buy at least 3 or 4 times across different platforms over the next 20 years. because that's what we did with GTA 5. So yes, Rockstar have vaguely announced GTA 6. Well, they haven't actually called it GTA 6, have
They've
they?
announced a game that is
Yes.
going to have a.
Well, what they tweeted is that we're very excited to let you know that in early December, we will release the first trailer for the next Grand Theft Auto. We look forward to many more years of sharing these experiences with all of you. And that's all she said.
Yeah, so that wasn't GTA 6. That was the next Grand Theft Auto game. It could be called
That's
anything.
GTA Online 2.0.
Well, it will be. Let's be honest. It
Yeah.
will be GTA Online 2.0. I can guarantee it will be that. Look, until I ain't going to believe it till I see it. I'm sorry.
I know. But not long now.
Yeah.
Early December. What, are we 2 weeks away, maybe? 2-3 weeks?
But what's early December? December 1st to 5th?
I know. That's why I
First
said
to
2 or
10th?
3 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks will take us to the 1st of December. 3 weeks to the 8th. I think that probably covers early December.
So all the initial rumors then
Yeah.
are that it is going to be set in a modernized Vice City.
Yeah,
So
we're
the
going
last
back
one
to
was
Miami.
the modern one was Los Santos. We're now going back to Vice City. So it is rumored. Must stress that.
Yeah.
And also it's also been rumored, and again to minimal kind of view, that we'll have a male and a female protagonist. There were some leaked videos, weren't there? Work in progress videos.
Oh, yeah, I know. Was it about a year ago, wasn't it? They
Which
dumped a load of footage.
I'm not going to talk about because I don't really think they really give, quite frankly.
No. They were still early days, rough stones. But yeah, rough video source, I should say. But yeah, they said Vice City, a modern version of it. Allegedly, the map will be extended after release. So I don't know whether that means it won't DLC, I potentially imagine. So she said a male and female protagonist, a bit like Bonnie and Clyde. But they did highlight a Latina female protagonist.
They did, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm obviously going to buy this, probably multiple times. It won't be on Game Pass. I'm going to have to hand out my own money for this one, but no doubt, yeah, we will end up buying this when it eventually gets
Look,
out.
I've bought every single Grand Theft Auto game
Me too.
that has been. I've played every Grand Theft Auto game that has been. As we talked about the other day, it has been 10 years since Grand Theft Auto 5, which just quite frankly blows my mind by saying that.
And it's not the online bits. I'm there for the storyline. The storyline's always been so funny and compelling on those, and that's what I'm waiting for.
The online bit for me, I enjoyed for a small amount of time. The problem now I've got is you go on there and it's just difficult to have any fun because you just get owned by 12-year-olds who have got every DLC pack under the sun. Grand Theft Auto Online is a cash cow for Rockstar.
Oh,
it is
massive
there
amounts
to generate money. That is the only reason that exists, that game. And I know you're going, duh, all games are. No. What I mean is that is a cash point for Rockstar. There's no other reason that game serves any other purpose now. It's not there for the enjoyment of the fans. It is there because it makes money hand over fist.
It's very much a pay-to-play game.
Yeah, because if it didn't, it wouldn't be there.
Whereas I much prefer Red Dead Redemption Online.
Yeah, which we haven't played for ages.
We need to round up a posse here. I think we should get some friends, round up a posse, and go shoot some vermin.
Partly. Yeah, definitely. I'm up for that. Bit of vermin control. It is definitely a good game, but yeah, I am. Look, the truth is out. You should say we're going to buy it. We're going to buy it on console. We're going to buy it on PC. I can't believe that's going to happen, but it is.
And then they'll do the upgraded, I don't know, 20K, 80K version, whatever you call it. And we'll buy that.
What about 5 years' time? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So yeah, GTA 6. As soon as it drops, we will cover that in a future episode, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
So then, what have we got this week then? I did tee up Meeting Quo, didn't I?
Yes. So I didn't actually realise, but Apple hasn't released a single updated iPad this year. So next year is going to be a bumper year. So Ming-Chi Kuo says he expects the company will aggressively catch up in 2024, basically updating the entire lineup. So the rumours from him are the first quarter, so January, February, March of next year, we're going to get a new iPad Air with both a 10.9 inch and a larger 12.9 inch size. Still going to be LCD, not mini LED or OLED, but it is going to have an upgraded SoC. So it currently has the M1, doesn't it? The iPad Air. So
Yes, it does. I've got one here.
yeah, you know. So are we going to
I should
get
do that.
the M2 or straight to the
I
M3? I suspect the M2,
I was just
having
gonna
read
say
what he
I
says
would
about the Pro.
yeah, because I would say M2 because yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be my guess as well.
Although an iPad Air M2 12.9 inch, I'm up for that. I mean, I've not upgraded my iPad in a long time, but I might get that,
You
depending
know
on
what?
pricing, obviously.
I have to say I do love my M1 powered iPad. I mean, it never feels
Your Pro,
slow.
yeah.
It is a sleek beast. I have to say, the 11-inch one definitely
Yeah.
for me that was the better form factor. I mean, I
Yeah.
enjoyed the 12.9 in the old form factor. Sorry, Gen 3, not Gen.
Yeah. Not the latest one,
Yeah,
yeah.
the 11-inch one is much better for me. But yeah, look, it makes I think you're right. M2 could be interesting. Could be interesting.
Okay. Yeah. So for Q2, so what's that? April, May,
An
June?
iPad Air. Though, I'm just thinking of an
Yeah.
iPad Air with a 12.9 display. I mean, that is a big beast, though, isn't it?
It is. It all depends on that price.
And what we talked about before about the crossover around entry level machinery.
Hmm.
Well, why wouldn't you just not buy the laptop?
Well, yeah. And I reckon that 12.9 inch is going to be priced around the same price as the 11-inch Pro, or maybe slightly more, because that's what Apple likes to do.
No. I'm just thinking. Yeah, you're probably right there. Yeah, it's close to, isn't it?
So talking of those Pros, as I mentioned, Q2. Apparently, we're going to get a redesigned chassis this time, so a new look to it. We're getting those OLED screens as an upgrade from the Mini LED, and we'll be getting the M3 chip in it. I still don't know an app that needs an M1, let alone an M3 in the iPad Pro,
Especially a mobile app.
especially a mobile app. But that's what we're getting.
I mean, but saying that though, look at the size of a lot of applications now. They are growing, aren't they? But
They are, yeah, but they need the more RAM more than the power of the
remember
M3.
Apple said the other day, 8 gig of RAM on 8 gig of RAM and an M3 is the equivalent to 16
But
gig of
it's not.
RAM on a Windows PC.
It's not though. I literally watched that one and somebody put out basically videos showing it doing everyday tasks on an 8 gig versus 16 versus
I was just gonna
Windows,
say
and they went, nope, it's all lies.
Yeah, I was gonna say the 16 gig M3 destroyed it, didn't it?
Yeah, massively. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's marketing BS.
Yes, indeed it is.
But the one I'm actually very interested to see what they do with. Apparently, in the second half of next year, we'll be getting an updated iPad Mini. That's still around because that's not
Why
been.
does that exist? I just don't get it.
I'm interested though. It's not been updated since 2021. Okay,
No.
there's no details on what's changing, but could we see an M1 in there? I mean, it's got an A15, I think, at the moment.
A17.
So we're going to see an A16, 17, or could we see the M1? Because could you imagine an iPad Mini with an M1?
Well, that's just again, it's just absurd. But
it's absurd. You're right.
That being said, though, my joking about why does it exist? I think the iPad Mini still has a lot of places in like retail sales, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's still a big seller.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've seen quite a few of them. You go into shops and they've got those those little square point of sale things, and they've got an iPad as a till, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, without a folding iPhone, I think there's still an argument to be said for a device that sits bigger than an iPhone but smaller than your laptop. Because let's be honest, your iPad Pros in 11-inch and especially 12.9-inch now are laptop size. They're not the middle ground anymore like they used to be.
No, not at all. Oh, well, like you say, it does. If it didn't sell, it would not exist in terms of the lineup.
Yeah, Apple would kill it like the iPhone Mini.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're not about having products there that just for the sake of giving you a choice as a consumer. Their whole product lineup is there because they sell. Isn't it?
Exactly. So the last one, we'll be getting an upgraded entry-level iPad. Again, no details, but they have said they're going to find well, they haven't said anything, but the rumor is they're going to discontinue the 9th gen iPad, basically completing that transition from Lightning port to USB-C.
Which I think absolutely makes sense, doesn't it? It really does.
It does, yeah. Well, that wraps up the rumor mill.
Well. I think it has been a good show this week, isn't it? We've gone all the way from Apple, Apple with hell freezing over to Grokbot, and then GTA 6. I mean, this week you could. I don't think if you'd have told me the other week that that's what we were going to talk about, I wouldn't have believed you.
No, it was a bit of a fluid situation looking at the lineup, wasn't it? And things kept
It was a
changing
little
and
bit,
adding in.
changing last minute before next week. So yeah, so we're going to be at episode 150 next. Can't believe this, episode 150 next week.
Yep.
Which it's quite a momentous place to be. So I'm really pleased that. So we'll have stories there, and then we're probably into the last 2 or 3 shows of the year before we take
Yes.
our end of year break, and then we'll obviously be back in 2024. But we've got a few shows before we get there. So that being said, then we'll be back next week with episode 150. Of course, you can find us on techrant.online, and of course, we're still on Twitter at Weekly Tech Rant, where you can find links to all the shows we do this way. So again, if you if you're listening to this and you want to know, you give it to a friend, you can find us on all of the major podcasting platforms, whichever one they might use. We also are on, I think, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Newscast. God, I lose track of them. That 12 platforms that we're on now. And of course, you can get an RSS feed off our link on our webpage as well. Okay, with that being said, we'll be back next week, as I said. I've been Jay.
I've been Carl. Have a good day, all.